First off, just like you, I don't encourage anyone to really start an NGO because seriously, it takes a lot from you, and a lot of them collapse within the first 1 or 2 years. So unless you're very passionate and you're willing to sacrifice everything you have in you, I propose whatever solution you come up with, try and see if somebody else can help you implement the solution. Having said that, I started the NGO. I didn't want to start an NGO, but when I went out there to try and figure out who can help us address our issue, the organizations I came across were not interested in going into Kenya. So that's how I ended up starting an NGO. So I wasn't interested at all. So children in Kenya just don't read. Most of them can't read. Elementary students can't read well at all. Kids in the city can read, but just go 1 hour away from the city, then you'll be shocked. At the same time, the blind and the visually impaired are a neglected group in Africa. They don't exist at all. Most of them end up as beggars or prostitutes in the streets. So for me, I had to try and come up with a solution. And Braille, first off, when we look at the education, Braille paper is very expensive. So half the time they sit in classes with nothing to write on. At the same time, they don't have Braille books. So I had to find a solution, and I discovered that Braille is expensive in the States as well, but technology was going to change everything. And that's how I came up with the idea of using technology, the power of technology, to bring a better education, quality education for kids. So that's how it all started.
Well, I would say that Ultimate Without Borders, it wasn't called Ultimate Without Borders back when the idea started, but it goes back to my service as a Peace Corps volunteer. I was living in a pretty small community, mostly indigenous community, about 300 people, lots of free time to be in this community with no electricity, no running water, just observing people, spending time with families in the households of families, and noticing a lot of the communication between usually adults and children is not super positive. Just one of the observations also in my particular province in Panama, highest teenager pregnancy rate in the country. So some of the issues and observations that I had as a Peace Corps volunteer kind of weighing on me. And then also realizing that the Frisbee that I brought back home down with me was the most popular thing, that I did with the youth in my community. So, it started out as something that was fun, but pretty soon, just thinking about the ultimate Frisbee community that exists, if there are any ultimate players out there, I don't know if there are, that's an awesome sport, but it is a culture of giving back, of community service, and also within the game of Ultimate. There's no referees, it's self-officiated, and it's all about respect for the opponent and honesty, integrity, things like that. So the values of this sport, the simplicity of this sport is just super fun, and then just this need of youth needing something to do with all this free time that they have, and just needing a little bit of positivity, that positive communication that they can get, and an opportunity to even take that to the next level, and or belonging to a team and getting to actually learn some principles of leadership and goal setting and apply that in their community. That kind of slowly over time started to build up in my mind, which led to the founding eventually of Ultimate Without Borders.
So I work in Israel and Palestine, and I'm sure you're all very familiar with the problems that the people there are facing. I went there originally with another organization to help run youth empowerment and dialogue programs for youth on both sides, in Israel and in Palestine, in the West Bank. And I worked there for a number of years, through a very dysfunctional period in the organization's life, and was frustrated with the bureaucracy and also the reputation that they had built up in the Palestinian community in particular, and didn't want. I had this dream. I'm a musician. I had this dream of doing the same kind of work I was doing with them, but with music, and felt that to do it with underneath the umbrella of that organization could be shooting myself in the foot based on their reputation in some sectors of the community. What's caused by just a few people using these terrible things, outweighs so powerfully the voices of what the people, the silent majority, actually want. So I felt that music was one of the few powerful ways that the silent majority could have a voice.